Hello, everybody. Bill Thornton, SoCal Saber here. Thank you for stopping by. This is Saturday. We're going to talk about the music I listened to this week. First question I have: see the Hard Rock at Amsterdam. Have you ever been to that Hard Rock? I have. That's a really nice one. It's right next to a canal, and it's double tiered, and we have windows next for lunch. Very nice Hard Rock. I've been to a lot of different ones. Ah, okay. So this is spinning number 115, the albums and CDs that I listened to this week. We're getting to start off with the one that's on the thumbnail. This is a 1987 album, Door to Door by the Cars. I have 7 LPs and 2 CDs in the collection by the Cars, and 2 of them happen to be this album. So I do have a repeat. That's okay to have a repeat now and then. I don't have that many repeats, so I'm not making too many mistakes. But this was in that big whatnot bundle that I was working with, that I've been working with. Got a nice inner on it. This was the 6th studio album by the Cars. And unfortunately for them, this became their lowest ranking album, peaking at number 26 on the Billboard Top 200. Wow. What a failure, huh? Number 26 out of the 200. I have to laugh at that all the time when I see something like that. And it was within a year from its release, these guys, the Cars, would break up. And the album charted in 11 countries, and then it's the last one with Benjamin Orr. And they did do a reunion in 2010, resulted in their last album, More Like This. So let me show you what the album looks like. This was on Elektra. In good shape. I like this one, even though I didn't remember I had another copy. And this started my listening week off in VG fashion. VG fashion. The Cars could be put on my list if I had one, if I was compiled a list of, which I haven't made, of my favorite groups. I might start doing that and see how this thing turns out. And I'll probably be adding on to it and adding on to it. But anyway, that was the 1987 release, Door to Door by the Cars. All right, moving on. We're going to be going to 2020 reissue of a 1980 of a 27 so it's a 2020 reissue of a 2017 album called Sketches of Brunswick East by King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. Still in the shrink. This came from Whatnot also. I have 3 LPs in my collection by them, which I have become, I do like now, since I just learned about them or started listening to them maybe a year and a half ago. Some pretty good stuff. Okay. This was the 11th album by the Australian band. Nice. That's yeah. Nice inner. Gives you the titles and some of the credits about them. This is a collaborative effort that they did with a psychedelic pop group named the Mild High Club. And the title is in reference to a Melbourne suburb of Brunswick East and Miles Davis's LP Sketches of Spain, which inspired this album's jazz-orientated sound. Pretty cool from using Miles Davis stuff. They always come out, the ones I do have, to come out with some pretty cool vinyl too. But check this baby out. Yellow with blue splatter. Really good shape. The album has been described by several people as psychedelic rock, jazz fusing, and psychedelic pop and soft rock. I personally have a hard time differentiating between some of the sometimes, but I found it more on the jazz side. So I would have called this a jazz rock, but it was mellow, very relaxing. I'm going to give it a VG for the plus for the week. This is Sketches of Brunswick East, a 2020 reissue of a 2017 album by the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizards. Lizard Wizards with the Mile High Club. All right, so we're off to a pretty good start so far. We've got 2 VGs going. Got the USA hockey game going on over here. They're playing Sweden or Denmark today. Denmark, I think. USA and Canada are the favorites to win the gold. So the next one we got here is called Cosmic Wheels. This is a 1973 LP by Donovan. It's the only thing in my collection I have by him. It was his 10th studio album. And there's some strange look at where the album goes in here. Okay. It also has this like a record style. See what I can do with this. First we have a round poster. He had a few musical albums that didn't meet expectations, and this one helped out. This reached the top 20 in both the U.S. and the U.K. And then on the inside we got lyrics and credits and everything. Kind of an unusual way to put stuff to do it this time. But I guess unusual is kind of cool. So we have that, and then let's see. We do have an inner. This was the 4th studio album. Nope, I'm sorry about that. This is the 10th studio album and the 11th album overall by the Scottish singer. This came in Whatnot. It's folk rock for the most part. The songs were good, but the quality of the album suffered. It did get a deep clean with me, but it suffered. I don't know if it was the way it was pressed or the way, just because it's, how old did I say this would be? 27, 53, or because it's 53 years old and played a lot. So anyway, but it's in the collection. It had a noise in between songs throughout the album, and a little on a couple songs on the second side. And, and because of all of this stuff, I can only go fair plus this week. And this is Cosmic Wheels by Donovan from 1973. Yeah, I was excited to get some Donovan stuff in, but didn't work out too well. It's in the collection. That's okay. It's listenable too, if you don't mind the noise in between songs. And like I said, a little bit of noise on a couple songs on the backside. All right. The next one we're going to listen to, or that I listened to, was a 2023 reissue of a 1976 album. Let's get her open. Let's get everything out of here that's in there. I'm going to show you the height sticker. I had to take it off and put it on the outside of this one. This is Moon Madness by Camel, remastered from the original master tapes. You can see on the back, it was made out in Europe, and it was purchased from my visit to the In Groove a month or two ago. Still got a couple of those left from that visit. This was I have two LPs by Camel in my collection. The other one, I'm not sure why I picked this one. It's the fourth studio album by the English progressive rock band, and that is their last album recorded by the group's original lineup. Let's show you the album, huh? In following the Snow Goose instrumental album, some vocals were added to this one. I guess that Snow Goose one, which I do not have, is all instrumental, which really showed Prague stuff. And now, from what I read, this is a loose concept with one track based on the personality of each band member. For example, Airborne is by Andrew Latimer. And then we got the Chord Change by Peter Bardens, and on and on. Each one of them got one, so I guess that's why they called it the loose concept album. You know, future releases of this, this is the original from Decca, but future releases in 2002 and 2009 included some bonus tracks. This was good listening to, definitely prog. Pretty mellow fare, you know, we got from quiet to mellow to good to heavy, you know, however you want to do it. I don't know how to do that stuff. That's probably why people don't come over to my channel very often. But anyway, this was very good. It was a VG album for the week. Moon Madness by Camel, 2023 reissue of the 1976 album. Anybody have any stuff by Camel? How about prog rock? You like prog rock? You prog rock fans, tell me what your favorite prog rock group is and what their album would be. Tell me about anybody tell me about albums that they like. You know, let's get some conversation going on here. I like hearing from you, and I'll definitely get back with this. All right, so now it's time to get into some CDs. So the first one I picked out is the next one on the rack, number 190. And it's a Chorus Line, 1975 CD. This is made by the original studio cast recording. It's peaked at number 98 on the U.S. Billboard charts. Got a couple things in here. See what's going on here. Oh, we didn't have to take that one off. Maybe we did. We'll see. Well, okay, no, I don't think we did. But anyway. Picked at number 98. I have seen the movie several times. And why did I buy this? Well, back when I was working with Shenanigans Youth Theater Group, there was a portion of a major musical that we did part of this on stage with our youth. And then afterwards, some of the songs, like one was like a closing number for one of choreographed by my daughter for one of the years that I was directing the particular cast. So it's pretty good. I listened to it again. I listened to the whole thing. That's what this is all about, listening to everything in the collection, right? Cool. So that is the 1975 CD by various artists from the movie A Chorus Line, the musical A Chorus Line. All right, now the next one I dropped out is number 191, and I was really happy when I pulled this out and I saw what it over. This is the Eagles. Hell Freezes Over. This is the album is the first to be released after the Eagles had reformed after 14 years of breaking up. It contains 4 new studio tracks and 11 tracks recorded in April of '94 for an MTV special. Part of that, when Don Henley, when it come out to open up, he says, we actually didn't break up. We just went on a 14-year vacation. Because when they did break up, after a while, he was asked, do you think the Eagles will ever get back together again? And his comment says, not unless hell freezes over. Thus, that statement became the title for the reunion album. We got everything going backwards here. Lots of good stuff in here. So then I was sitting there listening, really enjoying, when, I don't know, maybe on track number 5. This is a CD, remember? It skipped, and then it like drug, and then it stopped playing totally. Just what the heck? So I took it, I looked at the back, I couldn't see much on there. And I see now there's a lot of nasty stuff on this album, on this thing. But anyway, I tried to put it on another CD player and did the same thing. I have tried to clean it using various different methods. I don't know if you can see any of that stuff on there, but there's a lot of junk on here. And then you can see up there, there's a scratch going across it at about the 1 o'clock position on there. And some of the fingerprints, I can't even get them off, even with cleaning. So, going to stay in the collection, but only because I have it. I had to stop playing to it. I was disappointed. They had a new song called Get It Over. It became a modest hit, and another love song, Love Will Keep Us Alive, reached number 1 on the Billboard's Adult Contemporary chart, but I couldn't play it. Very disappointing. So, for this week, because of that, I never gave this rating. I didn't even think there was a rating. Was there. This is bad. Just bad. Not even poor. Not even as high as poor. It is just bad. Okay. There we go. So now we're going into the last thing in the week is the album that we pull out that's already in the collection. And this week it is number, what do we got? 105. It is the 1979 double album by Donna Summer, On the Radio, Greatest Hits, Volume 1 and 2. It's the only thing I have in the collection by Donna Summer. I thought it was gatefold here for a second. Let's see if we got any inners in here. I think we do, so we'll pull them out and take a look. This was the first greatest hits album by the American singer. As you can see, it's on Casablanca Records. This was also the last album she did on Casablanca Records. And she was not happy with the way she was treated. We got to think back in the days. If anti-segregation, things were still going on. I don't know if that was why she was treated bad or not. I'm just surmising. So just forget I even said that. This was her 4th consecutive double album, and also made her the first person to take 3 consecutive double albums to the number 1 spot in the U.S. album chart. I'm telling you, as a disco fan, this is the one to have, a nice one, very nice one to have in the collection. Especially, I've told you this before, I was a disco fan and a club fan. I used to club and like the disco stuff and everything. and to have an album of this nature from the Queen of Disco herself in the collection is pretty cool. You know, we're gonna the numbering. This is how old this is. Okay, so this is side number 1 for the people that are old enough to remember this. And the back side is side number 4. The other album is number 2 and number 3. So people would put them on their turntables, number 1, like this. Then number 2 would go on top of it. And then so they didn't have to get up and change things. So when this one was done, number 2 would drop down. So then, when number 2 is down, you take both of them over and you flip them over. Now you have 3 and 4 layered, and same thing. I'm glad they really did away with that. That was really not very good for albums anyway. You know, in the songs on here. Oh my goodness gracious, folks. Can you remember on the radio? Of course, that song is great. And then we had Last Dance, MacArthur Park, Hot Stuff, Bad Girls. And then she did a duet with Barbra Streisand called No More Tears, Enough is Enough. This I can't say this rock because it's disco. Or can I say it rock? I don't know. This was really good. I enjoyed this a lot. Show you the labels. I bought this originally. So what am I looking at? 79. That's 21. And 20 is 47 years old and playing very, very good. Oh, so that's on the radio, the 1979 Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2 by Donna Summer to end the week. All right, let's take a look. See what we're going to pick for the 2 that I'll put into my Rayburn systems, okay? You know, I'm not going to pick Door to Door. I did like that because I looked and saw where like a 105. The other door one's at 307. We're going to see it eventually again another time, so I'll give it another time. So I'm going to pick Sketches of Brunswick East from the King Gizzard and the Wizard Lizard. There's my first selection of the week. Cosmic Wheels knew Moon Madness was in the running, but it was a little bit more mellow. Even though King Gizzard was mellow, was jazz rock smooth and everything. Kind of liked it. Hell Freezes Over probably would have made it if it wasn't bad. And then, so the second one is going to be the Donna Summer one on the radio, Greatest Hits. Okay, so that was it. That was this week. Thank you for stopping by, Spending 115. Please go down there and hit that like button. And if you're watching, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. SoCal Saber saying take care of yourselves out there. Be kind to each other and stay safe.